Hi there, and welcome to Limitlyss with your host, Alyssa Simpson. That's me! I am a mindset and manifestation coach, but you can just call me your personal giggling goddess of manifestation. I use my woo-adjacent approach to turn women into the poster children for lucky girl syndrome. And since you've tuned in today, I have a feeling you're ready to become a poster child real soon too. So now that you're here, it's time to sit back, relax, and learn how to become limitless. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Limitlyss. How the hell are you? How are we doing? How are we feeling? What's new? If you haven't already been checking out our videos that we have on YouTube, hi! You totally should. I've been having so much fun recording these videos for YouTube, and I expect my little YouTube plaque to come in any day now because we are just killing it. But anyways, there have been quite a few conversations that I've had about specifically intuition and alignment. So I thought, of course, I had to bring this conversation to the pod because it's a good one and it needs to be had. There oftentimes is confusion, specifically with our intuition. So much so where people decide to just flat out not even listen to their intuition because it's so hard to really nail down what our intuition is. But after you listen to this episode and after I give you all of my crucial wisdom, you will walk away feeling like you can truly understand what the fuck your intuition is versus what the fuck anxiety is. And I could truly and honestly make this a very complicated formula. I could really go into the nitty-gritty of intuition. I could really make it so complicated, and I don't want to do that, okay? Because as someone who has been a student of the metaphysical world for 16 plus years now, I have had my fair share of teachers and guidance and the gurus and whatever you want to call them, who have really shone lights on our intuition. And just like a lot of other things that are kind of in the metaphysical world, in the spiritual world, a lot of it does really get way too overcomplicated. And whenever I first started this business, this podcast, all of it, I really did decide that I was going to make this so simple and so fluff free. So it would be me doing a disservice to you if I were to overcomplicate the shit out of just listening to your intuition. Now, I do have an episode, don't know what number it is, one of the earlier ones where I do kind of talk about intuition. So if you haven't already listened to that episode, please go back and listen to it because there is a lot of good topics that I touch on in there, and I share a lot of like personal experiences with my own intuition. And this episode will go a little bit hand in hand with that one. But if you listen to this episode and you're like, oh, I still have a giant question mark, go and listen to the very first episode I did on intuition, please. But for the sake of just chatting your head off, which you know I could do, I'm going to keep it very simple for us. Now, me personally, when I think of my intuition, I really do see it as like a magic 8-ball. You know, like the ones from whenever we were kids where you ask it a question, you shake it, and then it gives you an answer. Because even though I have intuitive nudges that come to me when I'm not even necessarily asking for them, I also am able to ask and tune into myself and have an answer regarding a question, an opportunity, an experience, a path for me to go down, whatever have you. And I think that in order to have access to both of those parts of our intuition, I mean, it is the same thing, but being able to be led by your intuition, but also being able to tap into your intuition, they're not two very different things, but they are two skills that I would love for you to master. that have to do with just being connected with your highest self and your intuition. So the first part of it is being able to decipher what is your intuition and what is just your inner critic or your anxiety sending alarm bells off, right? And the easiest way to put this is your intuition is never going to feel panicky or alarming or rushy or spur of the moment all of the sudden. That is anxiety. When you are, let's say, getting on a plane, okay, and you are walking down the little chute that you walk down, you're going onto the plane. If you're like me, you always touch the outside of the plane before you walk into the plane. It's just I don't know, what I do, okay? I even make Josh do it too, where I'm like, you better touch the fucking plane before you walk through it. Like, you better touch it. But anyways, if you're walking down that chute, you're about to touch the plane before you step onto the actual plane, and you feel all of the sudden, holy shit, I gotta get off this plane. I can't be on this plane. I gotta go. Like, something bad's gonna happen. I can't be here. I gotta leave. That is anxiety. Okay? Now, let's say leading up to the flight, a week before, 2 weeks before, you have this little nudge, this little feeling that maybe you shouldn't take this trip. You have this gut feeling, maybe it's in your chest, maybe you can feel it at the back of your neck, where you just have this feeling, don't know why, but there's something telling you that you shouldn't get on the plane. That is your intuition. It's slow, it's nudging, it's almost like whispers of divine guidance, right? That is always your intuition. It is never rushy, it is never fast, it is never panicked. That is all of your anxiety. And as someone who really struggled with anxiety for, I don't know, 3-4 years maybe, I was having such a hard time trying to decipher between, is this my intuition or is this anxiety? So at first, it's going to feel a little challenging, but I want you to stick with it. At first, it's going to feel like, fuck, I don't know, like, I don't know what this is. Is it anxiety? Is it my intuition? Like, what is really meant for me? I don't know. That's okay. And to practice it in a way to where maybe it's not so anxious and maybe it's not so overwhelming, I want you to just do a series of questions. Just ask yourself, would I rather have a tuna sandwich or a turkey sandwich for lunch? What do you initially feel? Tuna or turkey, right? Don't sit there and weigh the pros and cons. Truly allow yourself to answer the question. Do I want to go to the coffee shop and get a coffee this morning, or do I want to brew my coffee at home? Coffee shop or home? Whatever comes to you first, that is your intuition. That is your intuition telling you, hey, let's go to the coffee shop and get a coffee. Maybe we'll do coffee at home tomorrow, whatever. Should I reach out to an old friend of mine or not? Yes or no, right? What episode is it even? I think it's The Office. Whenever Michael Scott was trying to decide if he wanted to break up with Jan or not, and Phyllis, I think, is the one who had him do that little trick where she was like asking him a series of questions and then he would just answer automatically. I might even be talking about a totally wrong episode or even series, but I feel like it was The Office, where she was like, break up with Jan or stay with her. And he's like, break up with her. And it's like, oh my gosh, I do want to break up with her. This is what my intuition is telling me, or whatever the hell. Something similar like that, but I want you to do that with yourself. Just about simple things, right? Like, do I want to take a shower in the morning or at night? Morning or night? What do you feel, right? That really allows you to start opening up to listening to your intuition, because we live in a society that has taught us to beat that communication system out of ourselves with our intuition. And your intuition is never going to lead you astray. Even if there are situations where you do have an intuitive pull to do something and you do that one thing that your intuition is telling you to do, and it ends up not being like the best case scenario, that's totally fine, because I guarantee you there was something that happened, maybe you either know about it or don't know about it, that was meant to happen for you, okay? I shared this story on the last episode that I did about intuition. Not the last episode, but the episode that I've done prior to this one about my intuition. And I'm going to share it again. My dad had, we always called it a sixth sense. Always. Like he would call it his ESPN. Like, I know it's ESP, not ESPN, but he called it his ESPN. And it was where he would have like intuitive nudges about stuff. And a friend of mine, when I was in middle school, her name is Kendall, she just turned 16. And back in my middle school, high school days, like going to shows was the thing that my friends and I did. And in the town next to us, there was this show venue called The Pump. If you're listening and you are from that time of my life, we survived. We survived going to those shows, being at that venue, all of it. And whenever Kendall turned 16, her parents were letting her drive to that town, to The Pump. And my friend and I rode with her. My parents were okay with it. And while we were at the show, my dad called me and he was like, Alyssa, I'm coming to pick you up. I don't want you riding home with her. I was so pissed. I was so mad. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, this is embarrassing, Dad. I rode here with her and now I'm having my daddy come pick me up and, whatever. It is what it is. And he came to pick my friend and I up and drove us home. And that night, Kendall was driving and she got hit by a drunk driver and she died. And my dad just had a feeling, like I don't want my kid in a car with her coming home. Like I have a feeling that something not so great's going to happen. So I'm going to go get her. And lo and behold, I woke up the next morning and on MySpace, my friends were talking about how, rest in peace, Kendall Smith, and she's gone. And it's like, what the fuck? I was literally just with her. Like, what are you guys talking about? And it was a horrible, horrible fucking thing. The guy who hit and killed her, he was an illegal immigrant, and so he didn't even go to prison for it. They literally just shipped him back to Mexico, and the barrier that Kendall hit, because it was on a 2-lane like back road highway, and there were guardrails, that's the word, guardrails on each side, and whenever he hit her, her car slammed into the guardrails, and it fucked up like, I don't know, 3 feet, maybe more. And because he was an illegal immigrant, they couldn't hold him accountable for fucking up the guardrail. So her family had to pay to get these guardrails fixed. And it was thousands of dollars. And our community raised the money to not have it be out of pocket for her family. But like, so crazy that just a crazy thing to where because you aren't a legal citizen here in the United States, you had like the family had to foot the bill for not only did they lose their child, but they had to pay for a guardrail that was fucked up because you were drunk driving and you hit this person. Like, that's a totally different topic for a totally different day. But my dad had that intuitive pull to come and pick us up. And who knows what would have happened if he didn't have that feeling. And that is just one of the very many stories that I have of my dad really having a great connection with his intuition. So I grew up in a home where it was encouraged, like, I don't know what to do. I don't have the answer. And it being told to me like, well, why don't you ask? Why don't you go within? Why don't you see what feels best, And then as I got older, of course, society beat it out of me. Not all the way out of me. I've always still been connected to my intuition, very much so, to where I have stories and incidences where I'm like, that was definitely my intuition leading me down whatever path that happened. I don't know why I'm having a bunch of fucking brain farts. Like, what are we talking about? But when I got older, and whenever I became a restaurant manager, I had so much anxiety to where I had this like really overwhelming fear that like on one of my shifts where I didn't have another manager with me working, that I was going to like faint or pass out or have some horrible thing happen to me, and then no one would be there to run the restaurant. What a dumb fucking thing to be worried about. You know? Like that's so stupid. That just shows how much I cared and how much I like was way too wrapped up in things that truly don't matter because I don't know, like if I was working a shift by myself and I fainted or had a heart attack or something, fuck the restaurant. You know what I mean? Like, fuck all these people in here, fuck all the employees. Like, my health matters. Someone call an ambulance, and I don't care if there's no one here manning the station. You know? Such a weird thing. But I had this, like, truly debilitating fear of that, so much so that I was trying all different types of remedies for anxiety and panic attacks and all these things. And I even had a panic attack one morning while I was there at work to check in our truck. We got our truck at like 5 a.m. or something. And I was there to check the truck in and I had like a full blown panic attack. I literally thought I was going to die. I've never had one before and I was freaking out. And I called Josh and he wasn't answering because it was still so early in the morning. And I called my brother and my brother answered and I was like, I need you to come get me and like take me to a hospital because I don't know what the fuck's going on. And so my brother came and got me and another manager came to work my shift for me. And when I went into the emergency room, they were like, this is anxiety. Like, this is panic. This, like, you're totally fine. Your heart's fine. Like, everything is fine. And in that moment, I was like, holy shit. Like, do I have a panic disorder? Like, oh my God, I don't want to be put on medication. I don't want to be, tied to anything for the rest of my life because I can't calm the fuck down. So I did all of the remedies, all of the things, all of the natural medications, like whatever you want to call them. I did it all. Okay. The amount of money and time and energy spent into finding my cure for that is wild. I don't know if this is like totally backed or whatever, but I would carry around a bottle of lavender essential oil and I would literally dab it on the top of my nose and just rub it in my nose, in my nostrils, all of it, and just snort fucking lavender oil anytime I felt panicky. And it did work. It did help. I'm not suggesting to do this though, because here's my story aligned with this, is in 2018, 2019? No, it was October of I don't know. I don't know. That whole time period, y'all, is real fucked off for me, so I don't know exactly. Somewhere around there, though. I went to get my teeth cleaned, like, you do. And it was time for me to have new x-rays done. And when they did the x-ray, they found a mass. This is so weird, y'all. A mass behind, or not behind, but inside of my right sinus. And so I had to have it surgically removed because they're like, hey, like worst case scenario, if you don't get this removed, it could shatter your sinus and your cheekbone and you could go blind. So I'm like, oh, that's fucking wild. Let's get this thing out of here. So I had the surgery, got it removed. It was benign. And I can't help but think that that mass was there because of me snorting lavender essential oil. I'm so serious when I say this. And if you're what is it, ENT doctor, and you're like, that's not possible. Stranger things have happened, okay? That's what I believe. So ever since then, I've gotten myself off of the lavender essential oil. Okay, I'm not addicted to it anymore. But yeah, that was a far off story from where we need to be on track about our intuition. But essentially what I'm saying is your intuition is never going to be panicky or rushed or feel spur of the moment or all of the sudden. It's a very slow build. It's a very slow nudge. It's a very like soft and calm communication between you and your highest self. It's never wild and crazy. So yeah, I hope this helps. If you haven't heard, I am starting a movement. And if you're someone who is craving a community of magnetic besties, daily and weekly mindset trainings, monthly live hot seat coaching sessions with yours truly, the ability to bring your vision board to life, a mind that makes you abundant as fuck, options to see personalized success because y'all know that I do not do cookie cutter around here. then I want to personally welcome you to the promised land because, my friend, you have made it. Inside of the magnetic membership, you can expect to finally be part of a community that sets you up for abundance, success, and magnetism. I'm talking about thinking of your vision board and then snapping your fingers and having it come to you in the most effective and efficient way. You know that there are people in your life who just seem to attract all of the opportunities, all of the money, all of the success, and you've been putting in the work with little to nothing to show for it. As someone who's been there, like I've told y'all before, I know how frustrating it is to see success in literally every corner but your own. But I won't let you allow that to be your normal anymore. The women in my world become magnetic as fuck. And when I say magnetic as fuck, I'm talking about winning $400 on a Super Bowl bet that they didn't even place, or getting approved for a 0% loan to consolidate $20,000 worth of credit card debt, or signing their biggest client yet in the 5-figure mark. These are the kinds of things that are possible for you too if you just allow your mind and your body and your energy to start being in total alignment with where you actually want to go. And these type of results don't just happen by chance. It happens because when you choose to put yourself in the proximity of someone who holds the right amount of space for you, me, there is no other option but for this to happen. And even better, if I'm being brutally honest, I've created this movement so that you can finally have a place to call home. So you can finally have a place where you feel allowed to come back home to yourself. And this is just the perfect amount of work that you can do on and with and for yourself without letting you feel that burnt out feeling from a self help hangover, all while you have me by your side. The movement that I have a mission towards creating is going to be one where we allow each other and the women in our world to break up with feeling anxious, sad, depressed, broke, no self worth, no type of confidence. Because when you are in total alignment, which is what you're going to be able to do inside of this membership, is to get back into alignment in order to become magnetic as fuck, you start to see the changes that you have been dreaming of. I'm talking about unexpected money flowing to you, waking up and feeling lit up about the work that it is you do, falling in love with yourself again, and being able to truly step into your authentic self without people pleasing, comparing, or waiting on someone else's approval. And you can join this membership today. Doors are open. So please come join us. There is plenty of room at this table for you, and I can't wait to see you on the inside. When we're talking about being in alignment, that's going to be the second part of this conversation, is so oftentimes we consider being out of alignment as like there's something like a greater force at work, or like maybe it's not meant to be or whatever. But when we're talking about being in alignment, that is when things happen in the most beautiful way for you. When you're in alignment, things happen so easily, so efficiently, and with so much certainty on your end that you are kind of like, holy shit, like, is this my life? Like, this gets to be how easy it is for me, and for how easy it gets to be for not only myself, but like the ones around me, and like inside of my business and inside of my relationships, with my finances, with everything. And that is when you know you're in true alignment, okay? And what I notice oftentimes is there is a seesaw happening with being in alignment and being out of alignment, to where you have these weeks, maybe even months, where you are in total alignment, where opportunities keep showing up for you, where things are happening without a whole lot of effort from you, where you are able to think of something that you'd want to happen for you, and then it does almost immediately. Like, that is when you're in total alignment. When you're not in alignment, that is when you're feeling the burnout. You're broke. For some reason, your finances just cannot stick with you. It's like you're pissing away money without even trying to piss it away. Like you receive an amount of money and then you have an unexpected expense pop up. It happens time and time again. Or you're constantly sick, or you're dealing with allergies all the time, or a new physical ailment, or something like that. Being out of alignment can manifest itself physically, but also energetically is the biggest way that being out of alignment manifests itself. So you have things happen to you that you're like, oh my God, if I can't catch a fucking break, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And then you walk out of your room and stub your toe. And you're like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, all of this is happening to me and then I just stubbed my toe. Like, get real, right? That is when you're out of alignment. And how you get out of alignment is when you're doing things that aren't true to you. When you are acting as someone else other than yourself. When you are coming up with these desires and dreams that aren't truly yours, that's being out of alignment. When you are doing things for the sake of doing them rather than doing them from the place of being passionate about it or really truly loving it, that's being out of alignment. So, for example, for me, whenever I first started my entrepreneurial journey, I was doing social media management, I was doing affiliate marketing, and because I saw other people have success with it, I was like, well, this has to work for me because other people have had success with it. And I wasn't passionate about either one. I could really give a fuck less about either one, but I was doing it because I thought that was the way that I was going to see success for myself. Instead of really going within and saying, okay, intuition, where do we need to be? What feels the best? Where should I be led? Where am I most needed in this world? What lights me the fuck up? And hello, mindset and manifestation. Okay, how can I make that into something that is like what I do for a living? Okay, coaching, podcasting, creating content, being an influencer for Zaddy Universe, which is what I'm titling myself from here on out, by the way. That is when true alignment happened for me. I was still making money in my social media business. I was still making money in my affiliate marketing business. I was still seeing success in that. But I woke up every day dreading having to create content for clients that I didn't feel aligned with. I woke up dreading having to have people inquire to work with me in my DMs to do content for them when I was like, that's the last thing I want to fucking do. Like, that's the last thing I want to fucking do, is to create something from my heart and then to have someone tell me that they don't like it. Like, ugh, kill me. You know, it was so hard. And now I wake up and I'm sometimes rushing through my morning routine, if I'm being totally honest, because I'm just so excited to get to do what I get to do. And I hired a team member back at the end of the year in 2024. Shout out to my girl Adrienne. Her and I, we actually met at the beginning of 2024, and I was telling her, you know, how I have all these big changes happening in my life and I would really love to like have someone in person who I could have as like a solid team member to like help me bring this vision into reality. And she was like, well, what if I come work for you? And I'm like, holy shit, let's fucking do it. And we've been together ever since. And I have like a little project list inside of a project management tool that I use that's mainly for me to stay on track so I don't I don't overwhelm her or myself with like all the ideas and stuff that I have, but I'm constantly in that fucking thing, dropping content ideas, dropping downloads, thinking of new programs and what to bring to my membership and how I can serve my clients that I work privately with, and like all these types of things are in there because of how much passion and how aligned I feel with where I'm at right now. Don't get me wrong, I have weeks where I'm like, I just want to lay on the couch and just simply exist. And I honor those weeks. I'm not rushing to get through them, but 80% of my time and my energy is filled with excitement and like ready to take on the opportunity that I have to raise the collective consciousness of women, right? And to raise the collective consciousness of all of us moving forward into this world where things get to be easy and flowy and smooth and abundant and magnetic. And to me, that is being in alignment for myself. And so when I'm in that aligned space, things happen for me so unexpectedly, y'all. Like the unexpected checks in the mail, like doing a speaking event and then turning around and having them end up sending me money for speaking at their event when money wasn't even talked about being an exchange at the beginning, or having clients come to me that I've never even seen or spoke to, and they're like, hey, I've been quietly following along for a long time, like I need your help more now than ever. Or having opportunities to just literally pull up my podcasting stuff to just start talking and be talking for 26 minutes now. And all of this is coming to me intuitively, y'all. Like, this is not me having notes. This isn't me having like a plan of things to talk about. It just kind of flows through me because I'm in alignment. And as someone who's lived out of alignment and in alignment, when I am in alignment, I'm able to manifest so much more efficiently and quickly than I am when I'm out of alignment. And the easiest way for you to know, if you're like, Alyssa, I have no idea if I'm in alignment or if I'm out of alignment, ask yourself, is this true alignment for me? Does this feel like I'm living in my soul's purpose, in my soul aligned space, right? Or do things feel fucking hard? Or do things feel rough? Or do you feel like you've been doing this for such an extended amount of time that you're being picked on at this point because the universe hasn't come down to reward you with things that you desire, right? I can't answer that question for you because I don't know, right? But you have the answer within you. And it's not an anxious, frantic answer. It's a very slow nudge, right? You can feel it. You can sense it. You can almost have a direct line of communication with it because that's your intuition speaking to you. And if you have an intuitive pull to do something, whether it be to work with a coach, to sign up for a program, to burn your business to the ground and start that catering business you've always wanted to do, or start creating pottery out of your garage, or what the fuck ever, do it. It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to have this $1 million idea or strategy behind it either. If it makes you feel good, that is all of the excuse that you need to go after it. Because when you follow what feels good, when you follow that intuitive pull of what feels good, the universe follows suit and you start to have things happen for you in the most beautiful ways because you're living in alignment. Take a moment today to really understand where it is you're at and where it is you want to be. And if you need help with this, you know where to find me. I'm happy to do so for you, because the last thing that we're going to do moving into the future or moving into the next 20 minutes is to sit in shit that no longer serves us. Okay? So I will see you guys next time. I love you. Bye. Thank you for tuning in today. Your support is so appreciated, and I would love to hear your feedback on this episode. Make sure to leave a review, and when you screenshot this and share it with your friends, that you're tagging me on Instagram at _Alyssa Simpson X. I'll see you next week. Bye!